In 2018, we see really 5 major trends in the industry. The first one, and probably the most significant, is all the emphasis around augmented analytics. And what that basically means is bringing smarts and AI into the full stack of analytics, from data preparation all the way through to insights. And I think the key driver for this is, one is all the investment that's been happening in AI and people seeing opportunities about how they can bring machine learning into understanding and speeding up the whole analytic process. And I think it really, again, it sort of emphasizes the fact that people are getting the what. You know, the dashboards and reporting and all that analytics today delivers the what, but the augmented is really about the why. What's happening, how it's happening, why is it happening, and what will happen in the future. And I think that's going to be a huge shift in the delivery of analytics into business users. Very, very exciting piece overall. The second trend we see is really this huge shift to thinking about all analytics platforms as enterprise platforms rather than desktop. And I think this has been brewing for a while, and it has a lot to do with the shift from purely from data visualization into how do we deliver this and share this across the enterprise? How do we take insights across the enterprise? We're seeing more and more organizations now looking at the full enterprise stack and saying, well, how do we deliver analytics across our whole business? And that has a profound impact. And one of those impacts, and the third point, is this continued emphasis on governance. Why we're seeing the push to enterprise is because organizations need to govern their analytical deployments. They're understanding the risks, they're seeing the risks with all the privacy legislation, with fundamental governance around their organization, and they want to control governance at some level of a centralized mechanism whilst allowing decentralized analytics to take place. And so this push for governance is pushing organizations, those large organizations, to demand enterprise analytics from their vendors, ultimately. And then the third part of that is the result of this enterprise push, is the full stacked trend. And what we've seen over the past few years is that to kind of shore up the lack of governance and the lack of enterprise functionality in desktop tools, you've seen this whole ecosystem of product being developed, from data catalogs to data governance tools, and all these things that are kind of helping to keep the Tableaus and the Qliks kind of vaguely in control in large organizations. And that represents ultimately an opportunity for the Qliks and the Tableaus of the world. I mean, they're looking at that going, I can grow my share of wallet, I can grow my enterprise license sales by providing that functionality. And so the Tableaus and the Qliks of the world are responding by trying to build enterprise products out of their desktop analytic tools. And I suspect there's going to be a lot of pain and effort for them to do that, and to do that really well. And ultimately what it does mean is that once they get there, they're going to start to price their products really differently. They're going to price their products at an enterprise scale. And what that's going to mean is we're going to go back full circle, and it's going to create a huge opportunity for new vendors to enter the market. And vendors like Yellowfin, and I think Look is a really good example as well, where we already provide the enterprise full stack. We already have all the governance you need, and we are not desktop orientated. And I think the products like us are going to be able to really easily disrupt the Tableaus and the Qliks of the world, who are going to have to charge phenomenal prices to their customer for the full stack that they provide to them. And so I think you're going to see a lot of disruption as a result of these changes in the next year or so. And then the last point that I think, again, is really, really interesting is the embedded use case. And for me, one of the really interesting examples of this is probably Salesforce and the huge amount of investment that they're putting into analytics into their product. Now, you realize from that is that fundamentally from a CRM perspective, they've done their dash. The product is done, it does what it needs to do, it's configurable, it's integrated, it does all these great things. Fantastic, where to next? So for Salesforce, it's a real clear understanding that they can win on analytics. And I think that they are the market leaders, and I think you'll see a whole lot of other vendors start to follow them, that if you want to compete in the future, you'll be competing on analytics, and you'll need to have phenomenally good embedded use cases for that to happen. And so that's what we'll see, really huge ramp up in 2018.